What's going on, guys? It's your boy the Cash Critic, and welcome back to another streaming and chill what to watch this weekend with your boy the Cash Critic. Thanks so much for tuning in, and happy Friday, folks. We've made it. The end of the week. It is Friday, right? Hope each and every single one of you have a blessed Friday and a blessed weekend as well, and have a ton of fun too. So we're just gonna jump right into things to kick things off right away. So as always, guys, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe button down below, and share it with a friend. So first things first, we have our Netflix top 5 choices. And obviously, we have to kick it off with You. Season 4 Part 2 is officially out, guys. So this actually just released yesterday, right? On Thursday, March 9th. And Penn Badgley is back, and so is Victoria Pedretti. And it doesn't get any better than that, right? It's the final cap to the show. It's the very last part of the season. Suspenseful, the drama. It's a thriller type show. If you guys haven't seen season 1 already, and all the way through season 4 part 1, please do so because you are missing out. Now on to choice number 2 for me is MH370, The Plane That Disappeared. This is a docuseries that actually just released this past Wednesday on March 8th. Now it is regarding the horrific story in regards to the Malaysian airplane carrying 227 passengers, and it disappears back in 2014. Now, if you want to hear the story itself, definitely check out this mini docuseries and see exactly what happened, as I watched it myself the same day it released, and I was honestly shocked as well. So that's definitely something that you would want to tune into if you're into those kind of documentaries. Now for option number 3, I have the Hunger Games collection. Now, the collection released on March 1st. All 4 Hunger Game movies released, obviously starring Jennifer Lawrence on Netflix, right? So definitely a good watch and a great story either way. A lot of fun, action-packed, right? I recommend watching them again either way due to the prequel being called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It is actually set to release sometime this year. We got little teasers trailer last year, unfortunately. No actual footage of the film as well. However, it is coming, so maybe it's a good time to go ahead and refresh your memory. Now for option number 4, which is a very, very viral show that is going on right now. Well, I shouldn't say show, stand-up comedy, right? So we have Chris Rock, Selective Outrage. Now this released on March 4th, which was also aired live on Netflix at the same exact time. So that was super exciting for Netflix and super exciting for all the fans in the audience too. So, of course, it's stand-up comedy with Chris Rock, right? There's a lot of hype around it because obviously this is the first time Chris Rock really goes out of his way and speaks about the incident that happened during last year's Oscars with Will Smith slapping him in the face in front of everyone, right? So check it out if you're into the comedy. Check it out if you're into that drama as well, because that's really the hot topic of conversation within that actual comedy. So, number 5, right? We got Drive to Survive Season 5. Now, this released actually back on February 24th. It's drama, there's adrenaline, right? It's sports, right? F1 racing. The suspense is there for you as well. And this really brings a different perspective to the sport itself, even if you don't like car sports, right? If you're not necessarily into cars, if you don't like drifting, if you don't like F1, if you don't like NASCAR, right? This show will grip you in, grab you in, and really show you what it's all about and bring a very different perspective regarding F1 Formula 1 racing. So it's definitely worth your while. I have been watching since season 1 and have been watching since, and I am hooked, and I cannot wait already for season 6. So definitely, even if you're not into cars, just give it a shot and let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now for my hidden gem, as you can already see on the screen as well, is Molly's Game. This is personally one of my favorite movies just to watch around, especially when I'm just passing time around the house. So this was actually released back in 2017. It is starring actually Jessica Chastain, Idris Elba, right, and many, many more actors and actresses. So this is actually based on a true story off of a Olympic skier that actually hosted an exclusive high stakes kind of poker game and then ultimately became wanted by the FBI. So it's definitely a favorite. The story itself is absolutely insane, like really can't even think of any other word. So tune into it if you haven't seen it already, or maybe you just want to go ahead and rewatch it too. So those right there are my top 5 choices for Netflix with my hidden gem. Alrighty, now on to segment number 2 with my HBO Max top 5 choices and my hidden gem as well. First things first, we got to kick it off with Mortal Kombat 2021. So obviously this released back in 2021 exclusively in theaters and also on HBO Max. And this is starring Haruki Sanada, right? Joe Taslim, Josh Lawson, and so many more actresses and actors that really bring the story itself to a great live action picture. So obviously this is based off the phenomenal action-packed Mortal Kombat games, so expect it to be gory, true to the games, great action, and absolutely phenomenal fighting choreography. The director and the producers themselves have stated that they tried to use as little VFX and CGI as much as possible and really just focus on the true fighting sequences, and you can definitely tell in this actual film. Of course, they had to use VFX and CGI, right? But it's really not overly aggressive with it, which is great. So this is part of a 3-series movie. The second one is already greenlit, so just keep that in mind. And then hopefully we hear some news coming on that soon. So definitely check it out. If you're a fan of the video games, if you're not a fan of the video games and you like fighting Kung Fu style, definitely for you. Now for number 2, I have Succession Season 3. Yes, it's back on the list, guys. So as I mentioned last week with Season 4, it's right around the corner, right? Releasing on March 26th. It's definitely your time right now to catch up. So if you love family drama, if you love suspense, if you love business suspense, if you love business in general, this is definitely for you, right? Starring Brian Cox, Jeremy Strong, and the list goes on. The cast is unbelievable. The writing is unbelievable. You'll definitely be hooked as soon as you start watching it. Now, option number 3 for me is Coneheads. Yes, we are throwing it way back. So this was released back in 1993, before the year I was born. I was born in 1996, right? So this is actually a story of aliens that crash landed on Earth. They ultimately have children that are just trying to adapt and be normal as regular humans, however. So there's a conflict of interest there between the mother, the father, and then also their daughter. So it's definitely a comedy. It's heartwarming. It's a great fun film all around, to be honest. I highly recommend it as it is leaving HBO Max March 31st. If you've never seen this, definitely go ahead and get a stab at it because it's definitely worth your while. Now, for my 4th option is Perry Mason Season 2. Now, Season 2 just released March 6th, so just a few days ago, right? Now, if you haven't watched this takes place back in the 1930s, and it really is revolving around an attorney taking on an absolute massive murder case, and it's very publicly well known. So the drama, suspense, it's action-packed, right? It's starring Matthew Rhys, and this is definitely worth your watch if you're into those kind of crime shows. Now, option number 5, yes, we are bringing it back on the screen yet again, The Last of Us, specifically episode 9, which is the finale, which is airing Sunday, March 12th. So obviously this is starring Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, and the show is constantly climbing the charts with every single episode gaining more and more and more viewers. So it is breaking many, many records, especially specifically on HBO Max, of course. Now, tune in to see how it all ends. Even if you play the video game, this live adaptation honestly is worth your while, so feel free to go ahead and watch the show itself, even if you already know what happened because of the video game itself. Now for my hidden gem, which you can see on my screen already, is Spawn, the 1997 live action film. I love this movie. So this was released back in 1997, of course. It is starring Michael J. White and then also John Leguizamo, and this is a must watch, guys. So what this movie entails is pretty much a mercenary being killed and comes back from the depths of hell and ultimately becomes a soldier of the devil. So it's action-packed, it's dark-toned, it's the great fighting sequences in here as well. Additionally, a reboot was announced as well, so no set release date announced as it has been delayed multiple times. Hoping that it does release in 2023. It's looking like maybe 2024, but maybe you want to go ahead and watch this, just that way you have a refresher and see what's coming in the future too. So those are my top 5 choices on HBO Max. Now onto segment number 3, guys. We have my top 5 choices and my hidden gem for Apple TV Plus. So obviously I'm going to kick it off. I'm going to do the same one as last week, right? It's Hello Tomorrow, specifically episode 6. So this is back on the list, of course, with episode 6 just releasing today. I haven't had a chance to watch it just yet, but I'll definitely be watching it after the end of this video. So it's a retro, futuristic world with a group of salesmen, selling new lives for people to live on the moon, right? That's really what they're selling here. And obviously there's a lot of twists and turns in regards to that story itself. But the story has been great so far and just intensifying as the episodes progress. It's definitely drama and a mix of sci-fi type of feel in there. So absolutely check it out if this is your first time hearing about it as well. Now, for number 2 that I have is Liaison Season 1. Now, this was released actually back in February 24th, and it's a mix of French and English as well, so subtitles I definitely recommend you to put them on, just in case they switch between the languages. So, it's a story of like constant cyber attacks with like potential to actually destroy the future of the world itself. So, it sounds pretty action-packed, as you can tell. It's a thriller, it's drama, and there's also a lot of romance in the show itself, too. So if you're into that action, that CIA type of like vibe, type of show, definitely worth your while. And I think you'll definitely enjoy, as I have been as well. Now, option number 3 on Apple TV Plus, I have Sharper. Now, this is actually a movie that was released back on February 17th of this year, starring Sebastian Stan, Juliana Moore, right, John Lithgow, and so many more wonderful cast members. So the story itself has to do with a con artist and that takes on pretty much the great billionaires of Manhattan, but the story does get a lot more chaotic than that. You can watch the trailer yourself as well, and maybe you're a little bit iffy, but it's suspenseful, it's action-packed with a true crime type of feel to it, and it's definitely worth your watch if you like those kind of films too. Now for option number 4, we're throwing this one back as well. Not too back, but we're throwing it back. So Defending Jacob Season 1. Now this was released back in 2020, and also, just to clarify, well, just to state, right, this is when Apple TV Plus was really trying to make their statement as well. So this is starring Chris Evans, Michelle Dockery, and then also Jaden Martell. It's a story based on a book. It's actually a New York Times best-selling novel as well. And pretty much what it has to do is a district attorney's son is actually being charged for murder, but it's technically up to the family and other individuals to see what actually happened. So it's definitely that true crime type of feel, and it's very suspenseful, very intense. So definitely worth your while to check it out too. Option number 5 on Apple TV Plus, I have We Crashed Season 1. So this was released back in March of 2022, guys, starring Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway. This is actually based off of a true story from the company named WeWork. I'm sure many of you have heard of this company itself. I've actually seen a few over here in Boston myself too. Now, this tells the story of the rise and fall of the company WeWork and how chaotic it all was while the CEO was in charge of the whole thing. So it's insane. It's a wild story. Will absolutely get you to continue to watch more as each episode progresses. It is only 1 season long. It's a little bit, I guess you could say, like a docu-series, but it's like a show itself. It's an awesome show, and I absolutely loved it. So tune into it if you think you're going to be into it as well. Now, my hidden gem, you can already see it on the screen already as well, is Prehistoric Planet Season 1, right? And this was released May of 2022, so not that far back, and it's narrated by no other than the GOAT himself, David Attenborough. Now, it's a mini docuseries that actually shows how dinosaurs lived millions of years ago, but the technology brought to these series is absolutely jaw-dropping. And what I mean is that these dinosaurs, they look so real that you won't even be able to tell this is CGI. I'm telling you that, and that's for a fact. Now, if you're into those animal documentaries, this is absolutely the show that's going to be worth your while, and especially with Season 2 already being announced and releasing this year in May, I highly recommend watching it. You don't have to watch Season 1 regardless to watch Season 2, but I highly recommend just that way you can see exactly how the previous life used to be and how great our technology has come. And, obviously David Attenborough, the star of the show, so you got to support the man himself. So those are my top 5 and my hidden gem for Apple TV Plus. Now we're on to segment number 4, guys, and we're kicking it off with Disney Plus, right? So now we have The Mandalorian Season 3, specifically Episode 2. So yes, it is back on the list, right? So Episode 2 just released on March 7th, so this just past week, right? And obviously, Pedro Pascal is back on the saddle as the Mandalorian himself. Episode 1 actually did kick off on like a slow start, but with this most recent Episode 2, it definitely goes ahead and picks up the pace. So obviously, you guys are in for a treat. So it's definitely worth watching, especially if you are a Star Wars fan. But guys, drop a comment down below if you're enjoying the season so far, because I'm having a blast and I can't wait to see how it ends off too. For option number 2, I have Power. So this was actually just released on March 8th, right? So this was just released Wednesday. So This actually tells the story of all the iconic women in like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they share this experience with their fans and how it also has impacted so many across the world. And obviously, especially with International Women's Day on March 8th, right? It was an awesome miniseries to release that same day. Although Women's Day, in my eyes, is every single day, guys. So just keep that in mind. But definitely great little docuseries to watch. And it's, I believe, only 4 episodes, so shouldn't be taking that much of your day either. But that's option number 2. Option number 3, guys, we're kicking it back to WandaVision. So this was released back in 2021, being the first live-action Marvel show to release on Disney+. So this is starring, obviously, Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, right? So Elizabeth Olsen playing as Wanda Witch herself, and then also Paul Bettany as Vision, right? So shows the lives of both characters in different periods of the world. It has like that sitcom type of feel to it. However, it does quickly ramp up things, and a lot of stuff starts to unravel and starts to tie in with like the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. But it's definitely worth your while. Even I would say if you've never actually watched a Marvel movie, I would definitely go ahead and give this a try, because even my parents themselves, they don't even follow the story, and they loved WandaVision. So definitely try it out if you're into it as well. Now, for option number 4 on Disney Plus, I have Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 1 and the only season. So this was released back in May of 2022, starring Ewan McGregor and then Hayden Christensen and, of course, Moses Ingram. So another much-watched Star Wars show, especially if you've seen the films Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and then also Episode 4, A New Hope, as it takes place actually between that timeline, and we get to see more of Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, how they evolve, and of course they get to go at it yet again in a much more chaotic way than we did in Episode 4 and of course Episode 3. So it's really rejuvenated and revitalizing that relationship that they had between each other. So it's action-packed. The story all around was phenomenal, realistically, and really bringing that more in-depth story between both characters and the world itself. So definitely tune in if you love Star Wars, and if you haven't seen it yet, or if you're not a Star Wars fan, just watch it and give me your thoughts down below too. And now option number 5 for Disney Plus is The Punisher, seasons 1 through 2. Now, this was originally released back in 2017 on Netflix, but obviously, of course, now it's on Disney Plus, right? So this is starring Jon Bernthal, and you know it's going to be action-packed, guys, and absolutely hectic with brutal fighting scenes anytime he shows up on the big screen, right? So you don't even have to be a Marvel fan whatsoever to actually watch this show, to be honest with you. And pretty much the synopsis of it is a former Marine pretty much getting revenge on the people that ultimately killed his family. So it's really action-packed, it's gory. It was also just confirmed as well that he's going to be making a return in the new Daredevil show that is actually being filmed as we speak, future in Disney Plus. So definitely worth your while. Honestly, like I said, if you're into like gunfights or shooting, action-packed fighting scenes, this is definitely the show for you, because you really don't have to know anything about Marvel to actually watch this either. And last but not least, guys, my hidden gem, which you can already see, of course, on the screen, is Ratatouille. So this movie actually came back a long time ago, 2007. However, it is starring Patton Oswalt as Remy and then Louis Romano as Linguini. So it's a family favorite, guys, of a rat being able to actually make an alliance with a chef in a famous Paris restaurant, and this rat loves to cook. So it's a great movie and something I would recommend to watch, especially to those who have young ones, maybe a family night as well, but something that you definitely don't want to miss out on. So that right there, guys, is my top 5 Disney Plus films and shows to recommend. Alrighty, guys, now on to segment number 5, which is the very last one. We have the Nielsen charts, which we are showing the top 10 shows overall that people are watching by minute. So shows and movies, right, on streaming platforms specifically. Now keep in mind, as a reminder to some of you that are returning or some of you that are new, this is 1 month delayed, and the Nielsen company are currently looking into ways to go ahead and update this, so that way we have more frequent kind of updates and more up to date as well. So starting off at number 1, we have Disney Plus for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Kind of expected that to actually hit number 1, so that's cool to see. Number 2, we have You People, which is the show, the movie itself that starred Jonah Hill. So that one has dropped from 1 to place number 2. Now number 3, we have Netflix / Peacock for New Amsterdam, a great show. Now number 4, we have HBO Max, jumping up 2 spots, right? Last week we saw that it was at number 6, now it's at number 4. Last of Us at number 4 overall. And I expect this, watch next week, to be either number 2 or number 1. So keep that in mind as well. Now we have at number 5 Netflix again with Minions Rise of Gru. And number 6, we have Netflix The Walking Dead. Number 7, Netflix Ginny and Georgia, which was actually ranked number 2 previously, so it has jumped down plenty of spots. And number 8 for Netflix is Coco Melon, still on the charts. Number 9, jumping up 1 spot to for Grey's Anatomy. And number 10 is NCIS. So all great shows. Let me know if you guys have been watching any of these shows or any of these movies as well. Obviously contributing to the Nielsen charts for the top 10 overall in the United States. So guys, there you have it. Those are my picks. There's the Nielsen charts overall overview as well. Let me know in the comments down below if you've been enjoying this content, and also if I've inspired you to watch some of these movies or shows as well. It's your boy, the Cash Critic. You can tune into more videos right now. Peace.